Hey guys, this is the Betamax Man here, and today I have a pretty cool VCR to show you today. We're actually going to be taking a look at this Sony SLV-R1000, which is a machine that I've never owned one of these before, and I've never worked on one of these before. So this is going to be the very first time seeing one in person, and it's going to be the first time working on one of these. I am familiar with most of the Sony VHS machines when they were being made by Sony. After this model, Sony didn't make too many more VHS machines, as I believe this machine came out either 92 or 93. Somewhere around in that time period this machine came out. And it's a very well built machine. It's an awesome machine. I'm very excited to work on this thing. And so I hope we can get this going. I think we can. I honestly think that I'm going to be able to get this fixed. So this machine, I bought this particular one mainly because it was in such good shape cosmetically. All the other ones that I see are just full of scratches and dents and scarred all to hell. And this one wasn't. I mean, yeah, it's got a few, scuff marks here and there, but overall, it's in really great shape. And the outside of this thing, the outside panel, this actually reminds me of Sony's last high-end beta machine, the SLV-R1000. There are some similarities in the way that it looks. The side, the top, they got these, they look like screws, but they're not. There's no screws in the top. It's just kind of fake. So I'm not sure why they did that, but but it looks very similar to a SLV-R2100. But anyway, there's some small characteristics if you're looking at it from the top and from the sides. But this is an awesome machine, so let's go ahead and flip the door down. I'm gonna be doing, this video is not going to be a repair video. This is going to be a diagnostic video. So we're gonna power it on, we're gonna take it, we're gonna open it up, we're gonna take a look at it and see if I can spot what we are going to need to do to get this thing up and running. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. I do need to get a screwdriver so that I can take the top off. There was something concerning me, and that is that when I was taking this machine out of the box, I could hear something rattling around inside, and it wasn't very well packed. It was a box, it was stuffed in a box, stuffed inside of another box. There wasn't much, there were pretty much no padding, it was not much, so something could have broke during transit. I don't know for sure. But anyway, yeah, let's get the screws out, and we'll pull the top off and then we will take a closer look at this machine. I'm very happy to have one of these machines. It has been... I've been wanting one of these models for quite a while now. And I finally was able to get a hold of one. And so I'm hoping that we can get this thing going fairly easily, hopefully not too much wrong with it. But we'll find out. So let's get the top off. Well, I knew that somebody had been in here because the screws were all loose. All 4 screws were loose. So here we go. One of the things that did irritate me with this particular seller is he did not send me the power cord. So I had to take the cord off of my SLV-R1000, and I'm using that cord. I'm not using that machine right now at this point in time, so I'm just going to use the power cord until I can buy a power cord for this machine. But it does power on, and I did check that much, but that's all I've done. And look at all the dust that's accumulated. So I'm gonna definitely be, doing some cleaning and things like that. But let's go ahead and power it on, and we'll see what it does. I'll show you what it does, and then we'll do a visual inspection, check some of the components, some of the well, I'll explain it to you in just a sec here. Let's plug it in. And it does power on. You can see the clock display. It's blank because the time has not been set, so it's going to be blank. But we power it on. We do get power going to our head drum. The head drum spins when power is pressed. That's a good sign. However, I think we're going to have a broken blue gear. That's usually a common problem. Yep, broken blue gear. So we got a broken blue gear. I did have to put this back in place, because this is a little this has got a tape stabilizer on it, and it's got the erase head, and this was loose and the spring was off of it, and it looks like the spring has attached to itself attached to somewhere, but this thing was there we go. So this thing was loose, and I had to fix this, and so I just put that back on, and I'll put the spring back on. So this was what was loose inside the machine. So I've already looked at this, but I haven't looked at anything else. But we definitely got a broken blue gear, and that would explain why the guy said that he said the tape would play, but there was no image on the TV. Well, yeah, of course, because it's not threading it around the drum. It's just threading half of it. It's only half the tape is being threaded, because this side is more than likely threaded the tape, and of course this guide here is got a broken gear, so this guide isn't moving at all, and so it's not pulling the tape up against the head. So I've also noticed here, the guide here, this tape guide is frozen. It's not supposed to stay like that. It's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to swing back very quickly, and it's not. So I'll have to take this guide off and re-grease it and re-lubricate it. So one of the first thing I gotta do is get this tape stabilizer and erase head mounted properly and reattach the spring. Second thing I gotta do is put a new blue gear in, and we gotta re-grease the guide here, this guide, tape guide here, and that will probably get this machine working. I don't see anything that's majorly wrong with it. Now, the cool thing about this is it does have a really neat display, and it does have a backlight. So there's a switch here. You can go off, dim, or bright. So I love this VFD display, and it's got a little picture of a tape moving inside. It's really neat. Now, of course, I'm not going to put a tape in because this guide is completely froze solid. So I'm not gonna do anything until I free that gear. But I can free that up, and then we can put a tape in it just to see if it goes through the motions and see if this thing is gonna be repaired by doing those couple things. So this is a fantastic machine. It really is. I've been wanting one of these for a long time. It's the Super VHS, and I have a regular VHS parts deck that I'm gonna pull the blue gear off of because it's a brand new one, and I want to use that. And it's a regular VHS, so pulling the blue gear out of that one to make a Super VHS machine work is a must. And this was a very high-end unit back in the day. Back in the early 90s. I'm pretty sure this was made in 93. 92 or 93. So, yeah, I was obviously I was around when this machine came out. So, yeah, I do remember seeing these as a kid growing up. I do remember seeing these in the electronic stores and in the early 90s. And so, yeah, I remember seeing these, and I'll tell you what, I was amazed at the way it looked. As a kid, I was so fixated on how it looked, you know, and then I would open the door, and I would just be at awe that, you know, all these buttons and, you know, just these little indentations in the tray here, just pretty cool. But you know, you've got video inserts, audio insert. I don't know if it has a character generator in it or not. It may not. I don't know for sure. Well, we've got SVHSs on. This is it's a button called APC, and I'm not quite sure what that stands for. If anybody knows, let me know, because I'd be interested in finding out what that is. I'm not sure what that is, but it is pretty cool. There's a little button there, you can turn it on or off. And yeah, that's pretty neat. And you got 3 video inputs, not 2 video inputs, but you've got 3 video inputs on this machine. Now, I've got the VTR command mode set for VTR3. VTR1 was for beta, VTR2 was for video 8 or high 8, and then video 3 was for their VHS or Super VHS, whatever one you wanted. So yeah, but I always love the fact that this thing has 3 inputs. I love that about this machine, and I love the way it looks. I love the way the display. That was actually one of the first things that stood out to me as a kid, is that display that they would have on. They would have this in stores, and they would have it hooked up, and they would have a tape playing in it. And I remember seeing the little tape logo, the picture of the tape with the tape moving inside, and the, yeah, I mean, oh man, this is like childhood is coming right back to me, man. So anyway, but yeah, this is a really neat machine. You know, Super VHS, it was a good format. I liked Super VHS. I did not like regular VHS, but Super VHS I liked. But the way that the VHS system processes the chroma and luminance signals, you get a little bit more color. I call it color bleeding. With VHS, there's a lot of color bleeding, and it's a little grainy. It's not as sharp as beta was, obviously, but it is an awesome machine. So what I'm actually going to do is see if I can put a little bit of rubbing alcohol down in here where the nut is, so that I can maybe free this guide up a little bit, because I want to free this guide up so that I can at least put a tape in here and play, even though it's not going to load correctly. I just want to see if it loads and goes through all of the modes, but I want to make sure we get that freed up a little bit first, and then we'll take the nut off, take it off, and clean and re-lubricate, put new lithium grease in there and put it back on, and that guide will have to be adjusted because your tape will ride too high or too low, so you have to do an adjustment on those guides when they do come off. You gotta realign them. So too high, it'll crinkle the top. Too low, it'll crinkle the bottom. Alright, well, the guide is now unstuck. So I will have to properly, you know, clean and re-lube this, but I'm going to do that later. I just want to see if this thing will go through the modes. And let's get this pinch roller off. So we got to take this screw out here, pull this cap off, and we'll get the pinch roller off so we can clean and re-grease everything that needs to be cleaned and re-greased. So this post here that the pinch roller rides up and down on, the grease dries out, and if this pinch roller gets stuck, it'll break a gear. Cover is removed. All we gotta do now is let's take this pinch roller off. Alright, we'll clean that and get that re-lube new fresh grease on that. Also, well, there's one problem I'm seeing, and this pinch roller is out of time. There's an alignment issue, because that is not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be timed like that. So, and then this has to. So somebody's probably took this off and didn't know what they were doing. So we're gonna pull that off, and we're gonna also, we gotta clean this as well. Alright, everything is back in and lubricated. Several sticks later, Q-tips later, got all the old dried up green grease, that's all dried up and no longer pliable. It has been removed, and you can see some of my fresh grease there I put in there. So yeah, let's we know that the guide is not sticking anymore, so we can it's fair to say that I'm now okay with putting in a tape and testing to see if it goes through all its modes. It is a good thing that I did take the pinch roller and stuff apart, because it was out of time. The gear was out of time. So somebody had been messing with this stuff and didn't know what they were doing, and they put it back together, so it had a mechanical timing problem. So it's a good thing I didn't try it, because otherwise I might have well, it wouldn't have completed the loading cycle for one, but it could have also messed up, you know, something else. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and apply tape. Now we know that the blue gear is broken, so that guide's not gonna, isn't gonna pull the tape around the head. So I just want to see if it'll go through its motion, go through its modes, you know. And we'll see if so let's get a test tape here. I've got, let's see, I've got a tape here we can use. Yeah, here's my test tape here. It's got Fox and Hound, so we'll just go ahead and put this in and let's see what happens. Okay, so it appears to be working. So we do know that putting a blue gear in here more than likely is going to get this going. So there we go. We're going to put a blue gear in. I do got to figure out how to repair this. So I got to figure that out. However, this is looking like promising. This is looking very promising. So I think this thing will be saved. And I'm very, very happy with the progress that we're making so far. So the next thing to do is that I have to take the chassis out. So I'm going to have to take the front panel off. And there are some screws and that'll hold the chassis in. So it looks like the screw down there that comes out, this screw back here comes out. I see there's probably a couple screws underneath the cassette housing, so I may need to take the cassette housing out in order to get to the rest of the screws. So this one's actually got a little bit more disassembly to it than the R5 UC, but this is going to be really, really cool to have this machine working. And so it looks like just the spring has come off, and there might even be a broken plastic piece that the spring attaches to. So I'm gonna take a look at that, get that fixed, get this chassis out. So, but we're not going to do that on this video. We'll do that in the next video. So next video we'll take the chassis out, we'll fix this, we'll fix the blue gear. I think I'll have to order a blue gear because I don't know if I have one. I thought I had one in a parts deck, but I'll have to look and see because I don't know if I have any. But the blue gears are they're around $15 to $20. Sometimes you have to pay as much as $25 for one of those blue gears, but they are still making the blue gears. And by the way, there's somebody on eBay right now selling 3D printed blue gears. Don't buy them, they're garbage. They're still making the blue gear. Sony is still making that blue gear. So you can still buy them from Sony. Now, here's the problem with 3D printed. The plastic isn't as strong as the plastic that was used to make VCR parts, because 3D printed isn't going to take the stress, isn't going to take the torque from a machine. A VCR has a lot of torque, and those parts are not going to withstand and hold up. It's gonna, if you buy a 3D printed part, chances are within a few minutes it'll break, because it can't withstand the forces and of it can't withstand the torque and the tolerances that are required for that part to continuously work. It's just, yeah, 3D printed stuff doesn't work. I do not recommend 3D printed shit, because that's what it is, shit. So don't waste your money on somebody selling a 3D printed gear when you can still get the one from Sony. And there are a lot of other people out there that have new old stock, and the blue gear is readily available. And it's more than likely because of the high demand for that gear. That gear breaks on all of the Sony VHS machines, whether it's a regular Sony VHS or a Super VHS made by Sony. If it's the Sony chassis, and this was the chassis, this was what Sony made. This was when Sony was still making their own units. And this was made in Japan. This was still being made in Japan. So this is a good unit. These were really good units. These didn't have the problems that the R5UCs had. R5UCs had problems with bad capacitors and power supply, bad capacitor on the hi-fi audio board. But the hi-fi audio board on those also do the linear audio as well, so you're gonna have to recap those. Then you know the blue gear, and then you've got other issues that happen with those particular models. So yeah, the R5UC, if they're working like they're supposed to, they are great machines, but they're not as good as these. I think these machines were probably the best when it comes to buying a Super VHS machine from Sony. This is probably going to be your best bet. This is the one that everybody wants. It's the SLV-R1000. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was kind of a diagnostic slash somewhat repair. All we did was re-greased. We cleaned and re-greased some of the parts. I have not done the guide yet, but I will. I just put some rubbing alcohol down there and let it soak, and let the so that the guide would spring back like it's supposed to now. So it's no longer stuck or frozen like it was. So anyway, that's going to end this video. Stay tuned for the actual repair video, which will be coming up soon. So this weekend is going to be a fun weekend. I'm going to really enjoy working on this beautiful piece of machinery. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye bye.